Can you hear me now? Good morning. How are you? So let us wait for the others.
Hi.
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 Hello. Good morning.
Hello.
Have you eaten your have you eaten your breakfast?
No.
No? Did you drink your milk already?
Teacher.
Yes. Wow. Hello. Hello, Pipa, Prem. I see familiar faces there. I see Sam. Pupa. I see Pupa there. Kaptan. Hello. Yes, that's your book, but our topic today is not in your book, okay? We have an introduction for our topic. So we will use your book next meeting. Very good. We have the same book that is the book that we are going to use, the Inside Out Science, okay? But our first topic is not in your book, okay? But don't worry, it's easy. So let us start now. Are you ready? Are everybody here now? So we are already 45. So I'll share my screen to you. Do you see the screen now, grade 1? There, I'm sharing the screen now.
ป้าเฮียก็มีวิดีโอให้ดูด้วย
Hmm? What is it? So there. So how are
Open.
you? Okay, so let's start. Good morning. So I will be your teacher for this year in science. I'm teacher Rowie. Do you know me? Some of you see me here in the school. Okay, so I will be your teacher for this year in your science MEP class. Okay, so I hope that you are doing great and you are doing fine at home. And if you want to, you can type your message there if you want to say something, okay? Because you are now all muted. Okay, so let us start with our topic today. So our topic today is about science process. So we will not going to use your book today. We will use your book next meeting, okay? Because this topic is not in your book. This is an introduction for our lesson. Okay, so let's talk about the science process. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
let us start. So the objective of our lesson is for you to know and to understand the science process. What is the science process and how do we study science, okay? Number 2 is after our lesson, you are able to use the science process skills to find out the answer in a scientific way. So you need to know how to answer using the science processes. So anyway, what is the science process? So these are, number 1, we have observing. Everybody say observing. Okay, say observing. Very good. Observing. Next, number 2, science process that we have is classifying. Everybody say classifying. Classifying. Okay, we classify the things. For number 1, we observe the things or we look at them. For number 2, we are grouping them. Later, I'll give you examples, okay? For each of these processes. Number 3 is inferring. Everybody say inferring.
Infinite.
Inferring. Number 4 is predicting. Everybody say predicting. Predicting. Very good. Number 5 is measuring.
Measuring.
Measuring. Very good. And number 6 is experimenting. X. Everybody say experimenting. Okay, so I will discuss it to you one by one. So we will try to know what are this kind of process, okay? So let's have the number 1 first. Number 1 is, everybody read, observing. Observing is from the word observe, or we look at it or we see it, okay? We observe. We try to know what it is. By our observation, we observe from the word observe. So what do we need? What do we need when we observe or in observing? So, to observe things, we are using our 5 senses. Do you know your 5 senses? Can you remember your 5 senses when you are in Anuban 3? What are the 5 senses? Can you remember? Okay, so let's discuss these 5 senses. Use our 5 senses to observe things. Okay, what do you see in the picture? P1, hello.
A kiwi.
A kiwi. Very good. Can you tell me what color do you see here? What color is the kiwi?
Green.
Green. Inside, it's green. Very good. How about outside? Outside of the kiwi? Color. Color. Color brown. Green and brown. Very good. The color is green and brown. Next is, when we touch the kiwi, how do we feel? We feel rough. Everybody say rough. Okay. And next is, what is the taste of the kiwi? Kiwi is sour. Is kiwi sweet or sour? Sour, very good. Okay, so now based on this one, how do we observe things? Okay, by by telling the color, we use our eyes. Okay, for the saying that it is rough, we can use our hands, and for us to tell that it is sour, we need to taste them. So how do we observe things? How do you observe things, or how do you look at things? Okay, so using by using our 5 senses. What are the 5 senses? So let us first describe the 5 senses. So our senses are sense of sight. Everybody say sight. What do we
Light.
use? What do we use for our sense of sight? What body parts? What body parts? What body part is he using?
What the fuck?
Yes. No, no. What body parts do you use to
ปัญหา
see
ไหม
or for the sense of sight?
ทำไมไม่พูดอ่ะลูก
So
ออกเสียงไปเลยก็ได้
we use our eyes for the sense of sight. We use our eyes. Next, sense of hearing, or the word is to hear. What do we use to hear or hearing? Huh?
Oh no.
What do we use to hear? What is
Oh
this?
my god. It's been
We use our ears. Yes, we use our ears for the sense of hearing. For a while, I hear some noises. Students, please tell your brothers and sisters not to make noise. Okay, third senses is our sense of smell. Everybody say smell. Smell. Sense of smell. So we have eyes for our sense of sight, ears for our sense of hearing, nose for our sense of smell, and also taste. What do we use to taste? We use our, what do we use to taste? We use our tongue. We use our tongue to taste. Very good. And the last one for our senses, we use our sense of touch. Everybody say touch. Touch. So these are all the 5 senses that we use to observe things or in observing. So in observing, we use our sense of sight, our eyes. We use our sense of hearing, which is our ears. We use our sense of smell, which is our nose. And we use our sense of taste, which is our tongue. And we use the sense of touch to feel the things by using our hands. Okay? For sight, we are able to see things. So we describe in observing by seeing the things, or what do you see, and what do you hear, what do you smell. In science, we will describe that one. What do you smell, what do you taste, or what do you touch, or how do you feel? Okay, now let's move on. Let's have some examples. Okay, our example is, look at these 2 little kids here. She said, what is orange peel like? What is orange peel like? Okay. And then he answered, how can we know that? So they observe the orange peel first. They look, okay? They look at the orange. They will observe the orange. So how do they observe the orange? She said, and then they touch the orange because they want to know the peel of the orange, okay? And we can touch the orange peel, she said. And then he said, the orange peel feels rough. When you touch the orange, it feels rough, okay? So, say how the orange peel feels when you touch the orange. The peel of the orange feels rough. This is an example of what senses that they use. Sense of sight, sense of hearing, sense of smell, touch, or taste. What did they use? Very good. Sense of touch. They use their sense of touch. Okay, let's practice. Oh, what do you see here? What is this? A lollipop, a candy, okay? So can you describe the candy using our five senses? What can you say about the lollipop using your senses? Okay? Describe the lollipop. What is the color of the lollipop?
ความสัมพันธ์ทั้งห้ากับกันที่ห้า
Color red and white. Very good. Red and white. Sense of taste. What is the sense of taste here? What is the taste? Sweet. Very good. It's sweet. Very good. What else? When you touch them, is the lollipop soft or hard? Hard. Very good. And what else? So we already have our sense of sight, which is red and white, taste, sweet,
นะคะภาษาอังกฤษขอ
hard
งแม่
when you touch them. Can we hear some sound from the
แต่
lollipop?
ก่อนเหรอแต่ก่อน
No, we cannot hear the sound from a lollipop. So let's see if you are correct. So lollipop is sweet. We use our sense of, what senses do we use here? Taste. Very good. Lollipop is hard. What senses did we use? Sense of touch. Very good. Smooth. Lollipop is smooth. What senses did we use? Sense of touch for smooth. And it is color red. Very good. Okay. So that is how we use our senses in observing. We can also observe some plants and animals and living things and non-living things. Okay. So let's now move on to number 2. What is number 2? Number 2 is classifying. Everybody say classifying.
หายเหรอไม่
Okay, classifying is sorting or ordering things by rules, such as similar properties or characteristics. When we say classify, we group them, okay? We group them together, which has the same properties and which has different properties. So remember, in sorting means grouping, okay? We group them. To classify, we need to group the
การแบ่ง
things.
ประเภท
Grouping or sorting. So let's have some examples. Okay. When we are sorting or grouping things, we group them differently. Okay. First, we sort them by size. We sort the things by size. What is size? Size meaning if it is small or big or tall or short. So that is for sizes. Small, medium, and large. That is for the size. So when we are grouping or sorting things, we sort them by size. We can sort by size. Let's have example here. Look, there are small and large oranges. Here on the table, there are small and large oranges. So, how can we sort these oranges, or how can we group them? we can group the oranges by we can group them or sort them by their sizes. So we sort them into a small group and a large group. Look, they are sorting it. Small and big or large, okay? The orange here now, these oranges are small. These oranges are large or big. Okay, so this is how we group the things by size, okay? Next, we can sort the things. Hello, P1. Everyone, zip your mouth first. Okay, very good.
Teacher, excuse me.
So we have
Excuse me, Teacher Rowie.
yes.
Turn off everybody's microphone.
Hello.
I don't understand.
Everyone, please
Insert all the time.
stop talking. Thank you. Stop talking first. Because we cannot understand.
Can you turn off everybody's microphone?
I need to.
นี่คือแบบบุกอ่ะเทียนไม่ใช่เล่นแบบบุกนะบอก
Okay. So let's now continue. Wait, there are still others that are not muted. Will you please don't unmute? Okay. So here for number 2, we can sort by colors. Okay. For number 1, we can sort or we can group by sizes. If it is big or small or large, mid or medium, okay? For please don't unmute. Okay, so there are green. We can also sort them by colors. So there are green and pink balls here. So we will observe the ball first. So how can we group them or how can we sort these balls? So first, you need to look which balls are color pink and the others are color green. So in things, we can also sort by colors or we can group them by colors, not only by sizes but by color also or by their kind. We can also group things by with those the same characteristic and different characteristic or similar properties, okay? So let's practice. If you want to answer, just raise your hand and I'll unmute you, okay? So let's practice. May I call Shokun? Can you answer? Okay. So let's practice. How can we group? How can we group you as a student, okay? For the student, we can group you as boys and girls, okay? Or we can group you as a student. We can group you as small students and tall or short and tall students. And we can also group you as according to your age, who are students that are 7 years old or 6 years old. So that is how we group things or sort the things, okay? Now, let's move on to number 3, which is inferring, or we infer. Everybody say inferring. Okay, inferring or infer. This is, we are thinking of what will happen in the future, okay? What do you think will happen in the future? We infer. We make our guess, our hypothesis or guess. We guess what are the things that can happen. Okay? So this is from an idea, form of an idea from facts and experiences to explain what we study. Okay? So for you to understand inferring or infer, I'll give you some example. Okay, so let's have example number 1. So we need to observe the flower by inferring, okay? We are using inferring. So here, this flower is red and has thorns. So she describes the flower because she already observed the flower. She looked at the flower. She uses her eyes to look for the color of the flower, and she uses her sense of touch to touch that the flowers has horns. And then the boy smells the flower. Okay? He said it also smells sweet. So based on their on their characteristics,
น้องไปดู
we
อังกฤษอีก
have
เล่นที่เล่นทีมนี้ป่ะ
So, when we observe the flower, they observe the flower using their sense of smell and sense of sight. They said that it is color red and has thorns and sweet. Based from their idea, they form, okay? They form an idea from the information that they have. So, they said that this flower is rose. Because of the smell and the color and the thorns, okay? So he said, yes, I agree with you. This is rose. So that is how we infer. We look first, we observe first, and then we try to get the idea from what we observe or how do we describe those things, okay? So let's have another example. Example number 2. So there are puddles on the grass fields. This one, look, there are some water. Okay, that dog gets wet. So they observe the grass fields. So what can they infer or how do they think of the inferring or guess what had happened, okay? So what happened was, because they saw some water or puddles on the field, they can say or they can infer that the rain just stopped. She inferred that the rain just stopped. And then he also agreed. They get the idea or information from what they observe. Okay, that is how we infer. We infer by using our observation or based from our observation. So this is for inferring. Okay, so let's practice. How do you, when you saw a cloud, okay, that is very dark, and what do you think could happen? Okay, if it is very cold and the weather is cold and it is very dark, what do you think? It might be going to, or the rain is coming, okay? And how about for inferring about animals? When you saw an animal that is big, large animal, has a large body and it has 4 legs, a very large animal, and it has a long nose. What do you think is that animal? How do you infer based from the description? How do you infer? What animal is that? It's very large or very big animal, has 4 legs, and it has long nose. What animal is that? What do you think? What animal is that? It is an elephant. Okay, it is an elephant. Okay, now let's go to number 4. Okay, so number 4 is predicting. Okay, everybody, can you say, I will unmute you. Can you say predicting? Okay, in predicting, we predict the things, okay? We predict things and we try to think what will gonna happen in the future, okay? To predict things. Okay, so for a while, I get the other presentation.
What?
Wait. For predicting, wait. Okay. So let me share our screen again. Okay, so there we have predicting. So what is predicting? Predicting is to give a possible answer or guess what will happen before we investigate. For the inferring, wait, I'll unmute you again. I'll mute you all. Okay, so in inferring, we tell about it after we investigate. But for predicting, we say it before. Students, please don't unmute. I always mute you. Pupa, hello Pupa, please don't unmute. Okay, so let's continue. So for number 4, we have predicting. So what is the difference between inferring, we infer, and we predict? For the For inferring, we are telling it after we investigate or after we observe. For predicting, we give the answer before we investigate or before we observe, before we get the information, okay? We are predicting.
Seven.
Example, okay? Let's have example. Let's have example here. Look, they have two colors. They have yellow and blue. So what will happen if we mix yellow and blue water together? What do you think? What's the possible answer? Yes?
Mommy.
What is it?
Green.
Okay, very good. We can get color green if we mix the blue and red. We can get the green. Okay, we can get green color if we mix them. So before they said that they predict already or they think before they mix it. She asked if what do you think will happen if we mix blue and yellow water together, and he think first before they are doing the activity. So here, before they perform the activity, they already think the answer, okay? What is the possible answer that they will get? So his predicting is correct because it turns into green color. Next is, okay, so let's practice on how to infer. Okay, what can you see in the picture? What do you see? What do you see in the picture? What is the baby doing? Crying. The baby is crying. So we can infer that the baby might be hungry or in pain. The baby might be hungry or in pain. That is why he is crying.
It cry.
Yeah, the baby cries. Why? Because he might be in pain or he is hungry. That is why the baby cries. Next is number 5 is measuring. Okay? So number 5 is measuring. What are the things that we measure? What do you measure? At home, what do you measure? When we cook our food, we measure. Yeah. Measuring or from the word measure. When we are cooking, we measure the amount of food that we put. When we bake a cake, we measure the ingredients, okay? In making food, we measure the ingredients. When you are small, you observe your height, okay? If you are growing, so you are measuring your height also. You can, for you to be able to tell if you are growing, so you use a measuring device. So you measure your height. We measure our height. And also, if you want to know if you are getting slimmer or bigger, you also measure your weight. So we measure different things in our life. When we go to the mall, We measure when we go to the shopping mall, we measure our clothes, okay? We look at it and we measure if it will fit to our body. So in measuring, we have this 4 things that we measure, okay? First is, what is this one? Can you read this? Okay, this is length. Everybody say length.
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 Length is for the how long or how short is the object. Okay?
Choose.
If the object or if the things is long or short, or tall or short. So we use meter or centimeter or centimeter in Thai. Okay? So we measure length and we use the unit as meter or centimeter or cm.
Okay.
And we measure the length of our table, our length of our curtain, length of our legs. We can measure how long it is. So in measuring length, we can measure how long or how short is the object, okay, or the things. Next is, we have weight. Everybody say weight.
Wait.
Okay, weight.
Wait.
We also measure weight.
Weight.
In measuring weight, the unit that we need to use is grams, or we express them in grams or in kilograms, okay? For example, we go to the market. We are going to buy some fruits and vegetables. So before we can buy them, the sales lady or the person in the market will have to they will weigh the fruits and vegetables to get no sounds. Hello? Okay. So the weight can be expressed in grams or in kilograms. Also your body weight, our body weight, you measure your body weight and you express it in grams or in kilograms. Okay? What else? When you buy fruits, you also measure it by grams and kilograms. Rice also. For rice, we also measure them by grams or kilograms. Also meat. When you buy pork in the market or at the grocery store, you can buy them by grams and by kilograms. Okay? So that is where we measure. We use measuring, okay? Measuring the length and measuring the weight. Next is the temperature. The temperature is if it is how cold or how hot is the object, or for example the temperature of water or the classroom. Is it hot or is it cold? How many degree Celsius? Okay, this is how we wrote it. Degree, small circle up, and then degree Celsius. This is how to measure the temperature of an object, if it is hot or cold. If it is hot, the temperature is higher. If it is cold, the temperature is lower, okay? If it is very cold. So when you go to other cold countries that has snow, the degree Celsius there is lower compared to what we have here in Thailand, okay? Next is the volume of water. How do we express the volume of water? The volume of water is in liter or milliliter. If you buy in the grocery store a mineral water, you can see this, liter or L or ml. liter or milliliter. When you also buy gasoline for your cars, you also use liter, okay? How many liters of gasoline do you use or you put in your car? Or if you want to drink a juice, if you want to buy some juices like Fanta, like orange juice or fruit juice, when you buy them, you look at the liter, how many liter and how many milliliter. If it is too, it's very big, it can be expressed in liter. But if it's just a small amount of water or liquid, small amount of liquid, it is in milliliter. So to measure the length, we use the following. So we can use ruler or tape measure in measuring length. We can use them. How to measure how long it is? We can use ruler and we can use tape measure if we want to measure how long or short is the object. Okay? So class, it's almost time or it's time already. It's already 9:15. So we will continue with this one on Friday, okay? On our next meeting. So don't forget the different science processes, okay? So we will stop here and we will continue next meeting with our lesson, okay? So I will unmute you now. So I'll stop sharing. So we will see you again on Friday. We will continue with the measuring process, okay? And the tools that we use to measure. Okay, see you again next meeting. Goodbye and thank you. See you again next meeting, guys. Goodbye and thank you, everyone. Bye-bye. See you on Friday.
Bye bye.